Former Defense Intelligence Officer pleads guilty to attempted espionage. Department of Justice, Office of Public Affairs. Ron Rockwell Hansen, 58, a resident of Syracuse, Utah, and a former Defense Intelligence Agency, D.I.A. officer, pleaded guilty today in the District of Utah in connection with his attempted transmission of national defense information to the People's Republic of China. Sentencing is set for December 24th, 2019. District Attorney General for National Security, John D. Demers, U.S. Attorney John Huber for the District of Utah, and Special Agent in Charge, Paul Hertel of the FBI Salt Lake City Field Office announced the charges. Remember back when I told you that the FBI was in Utah investigating leaks? And it dealt with human trafficking also? Oh, that will come out later. So you think Q's a joke, huh? You're waiting for those sealed indictments? Better pop some popcorn. Assistant Attorney General for the National Security, John C. Demers, U.S. Attorney John Huber for the District of Utah, and Special Agent in Charge, Paul Hertel of the FBI Salt Lake City office, announced the charges. Hansen retired from the U.S. Army as warrant officer with a background in signals intelligence and human intelligence. He speaks fluent Mandarin Chinese and Russian. Little segue here. Remember that cop I was telling you guys about? Yeah, he went to the school for military intelligence. They wanted to put him through the one in Fort Huachuca, the advanced academy, but you have to sign your soul away. And he said, no, I'm keeping mine. But that's what he did for a living. He would bring Schwarzkopf the news, the real news, and then they would disseminate what you were considered on a need to know. And he used to tell me, I used to laugh my ass off. Laugh my ass off when I would get home and hear the news. Completely different from what actually was going on. And when I'd ask him why you didn't do this, why you didn't do that, above my pay grade. You know? You keep your honor and integrity the best you can, and when you can't anymore, you get out. It just cracks me up when people who want to pretend that this isn't going on want to tell me I'm crazy, yet the very people that did the jobs are my friends, my family. But hey, what do I know, right? Hansen retired from... Oh, I said that. As Hansen admitted in the plea agreement in early 2014, agents of a Chinese intelligence service targeted Hansen for recruitment. And he began meeting with them regularly in China. During those meetings, the Chinese agents described to Hansen the type of information that would interest the Chinese intelligence service. During the course of his relationship with the agents of the Chinese intelligence service, Hansen received hundreds of thousands of dollars in compensation for information he provided them, including information he gathered at various industry conferences. Between 24th May 2016 and June 2nd, 2018, Hansen solicited from an intelligence case officer working for the D.I.A. National Defense information that Hansen knew the Chinese intelligence service would find valuable. Hansen agreed to act as a conduit to sell that information to the Chinese. Now you know why Hillary Clinton was in China with an unsecured BlackBerry. And who's funding her campaign? It wasn't really the Russians. It's the Chinese against the Russians bidding for the Clintons at the time. And she didn't like Russia as much as she did China. She sold them our uranium, but she didn't like them as much China. Because China is a lot more atheist when it comes to human life. Hell, they eat people there. Then Russia, who's got a lot of still Christian foundation, where you only eat people when you're starving to death. Or you're crazy. Okay. The D.I.A. or Hansen agreed to act as conduit. Hansen advised the D.I.A. case officer how to record and transmit classified information without detection, and explained how to hide and launder any funds received as payment for classified information. The D.I.A. case officer reported Hansen's conduit to the D.I.A. and subsequently acted as a confidential human source for the FBI. As Hansen further admitted to the plea agreement, Hansen met with the D.I.A. case officer on June 2, 2018, and received from that individual documents containing national defense information that Hansen previously solicited. The documents Hansen received were classified. The information to the documents related to the national defense of the United States in that it related to U.S. military readiness in particular region and was closely held by the U.S. government. Hansen reviewed the documents, queried the D.I.A. case officer about their contents, and took written notes about the materials related to the national defense information. Hansen advised the D.I.A. case officer that he would conceal some notes about the material in the text of an electronic document that Hansen would prepare at the airport before leaving China. Hansen intended to provide the information he received to the agents of the Chinese intelligence service with whom he had been meeting. And Hansen knew that the information was to be used to the injury of the U.S. and to the advantage of a foreign nation. Hansen pleaded guilty to one count of attempting to gather or deliver national defense information to aid a foreign government. The plea agreement calls for an agreed-upon sentence of 15 years. Special agents of the FBI, the IRS, U.S. Department of Commerce, the Department of Defense, U.S. Army Counterintelligence, and the Defense Intelligence Agency was involved in the investigation. The prosecution was handed down by Assistant U.S. Attorney Robert A. Lund, Karen Bolchik, Mark K. Vincent, and Alicia Cook of the District of Utah, and trial attorneys Patrick T. Murphy, Matthew J. McKenzie, and Adam L. Small in the National Defense Division, Counterintelligence, and Export Control Section. Documents from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington assisted with this case. I have to take this call. I'll be back with second part.